everyone, my name is David Macphail and I'm an author, and I'm here today to talk to you about Aberdeenshire Library's Summer Reading Challenge. But I'm also going to start talking to you about some of my books, and I might read to you a bit as well. I write a lot of books about Vikings. I don't know if you can tell that from maybe over my shoulder. I write a book about this character called Thorfinn, the Nicest Viking. The Vikings in my books, they're quite loud. Mostly, quite noisy, a bit mean and hairy, huge beards, bigger than my lockdown stubble anyway, and they're also probably a little bit smelly as well. Yeah, they're all a bit like that, and they shout very, very loudly like this, huzzah! Okay, so they do a lot of that. But they're all like that except for this one kid, and his name is Thorfinn, and he is nice. He's polite. He goes round baking scones, making tea, helping old people across the street. I mean, he doesn't have any decent Viking qualities at all, really. And the whole book series is about him. The latest book in the series is called Thorfinn and the Putrid Potion, and it's just out, so you might just catch it in the library. Online, ebooks, that kind of thing. Thorfinn and the Putrid Potion, it's brand new, just come out during lockdown. What I thought I would do, just to kick off this thing about the Summer Reading Challenge, is to read you from chapter 1 of Thorfinn and the Putrid Potion, okay? One brisk autumn day, the villagers of Indgar trudged home from the fields. Their foreheads glistened with sweat. Their muscles ached. They were licking their lips, thinking about all the meaty goodies they were going to eat, because the harvest was finally in and it was time for feasting. And there was nothing the Vikings loved more than a huge slap-up feast. Carrying their pitchforks and scythes over their shoulders, and led by Eric the Ear Masher, a ferocious, one-eyed bear of a man, they tramped into the village square. Only they did not find a Viking feast waiting for them, but a tea party. The whole marketplace was draped with bunting, and tables were covered with crisp white tablecloths. There were fancy place settings, tiered cake stands, and platters of teeny tiny finger sandwiches, plus great mounds of scones with cream and jam, and in the middle of each table a steaming pot of pine cone tea, complete with a little frilly tea cosy. A small freckle-faced boy was humming and whistling as he laid out the plates, while a speckled pigeon danced along the table behind him, pecking up stray crumbs. The Vikings gaped in horror. "Thorfinn!" barked Eric the Ear Masher. The boy turned, a gentle smile on his face, and doffed his helmet. "Good afternoon, my dear friends, and what a lovely—" "Cork it, Thorfinn!" boomed Eric. "Where is our food?" "Food!" the crowd groaned, sounded like a band of cranky old cave trolls. Thorfinn gestured towards the tables. "Here it is, my friends. Feast away." That's what it looked like. That's a lovely illustration by Richard Morgan, who illustrates the book series. Absolutely fantastic. Eric jabbed his thick, sausagey forefinger at the dainty bits of bread. "What do you call these minuscule things then?" "Sandwiches," Thorfinn replied cheerily. "You can have smoked crab and lettuce, or salmon and cucumber." "Lettuce!" cried Eric. "Vikings don't eat lettuce!" "No!" roared the crowd. "Lettuce is for the rabbits!" cried one man. "Yeah!" another cut in. "It's too, what's the phrase I'm looking for?" He screwed up his face in concentration. Thorfinn's eyes lit up. "Oh, I love this game. Do you mean high in nutrients? Rich in vitamins?" "Non-meaty?" suggested someone else. "Yeah, that's it. It's too non-meaty," yelled the man. "We Vikings, we hate non-meaty vegetables." Eric glowered at Thorfinn. We don't want your pathetic sandwiches and your wimpy little scones. We want meat! He smashed his fist down on the table. The plates, cutlery, cake stands and scones jumped 3 feet in the air, landing in a disorganised clatter. The crowd bellowed in approval. Thorfinn and his pet pigeon, Percy, stared at the mess in mild confusion. Oops. Don't worry, I shall reset the table in no time. Thorfinn was the village chief's son, which was, quite frankly, the only thing that stopped the crowd from burying him up to his neck in one of the fields and pelting him with rotten cabbages. It didn't matter that he'd saved the village many times over. What mattered was that he was nice and polite, which were definitely not good Viking qualities. Eric scowled at a small, flame-haired girl wearing a helmet that was far too big for her, who was lounging on a bench, stuffing her face with scones. This was Thorfinn's best friend and anger management coach, Velda. Her job was to try and make Thorfinn less polite and more angry, like a real Viking. But she was failing miserably. Her favourite hobby was throwing axes, preferably at her enemies, but she wasn't picky. You! Barked Eric. You're supposed to make sure he doesn't do things like this. Velda gulped down a mouthful of scone and belched. Brrr. I told him. I always tell him. But he never listens. Eric glared at a thin, wiry old man who was lying across the bench opposite Velda, fast asleep. This was the village wise man, Oswald. And you old fart! Eric kicked the bench. Oswald rolled off and fell down in a muddy puddle. Face down, in fact. The old man didn't even stir. Indeed, he continued to snore, blowing bubbles in the murky water. But before Eric could wake him, an eerie silence suddenly fell over the marketplace. A dark shadow appeared, bearing down on the villagers. Though bearing is probably not the right word, it was more like chickening. Because staring down at them was the face of a massive, goggly-eyed chicken. Alright, so that was chapter 1 of Thorfinn and the Putrid Potion. And that's the 8th book in the Thorfinn series. The book series started off with this story here, which is the red one. It's called Thorfinn and the Awful Invasion. And when I first had the idea for Thorfinn, for this character who was really, really nice and polite in this world of not very nice Vikings, it was just this one little book. This is the story that I wrote. This was Thorfinn's story originally, the only story. And when they published it, they said, "Oh, we really love this book, David. I don't suppose you would do any more." And I thought, yeah, well, I suppose I could do more. And so I did. First of all, I wrote another 3, and then I wrote another couple, and now I've just finished writing I've just released the 8th one in the series, and I've got a spin-off coming now, but one of the characters from the book series is getting his or her own book series soon, but I can't tell you too much about that. That's going to be coming out quite soon. And I'll have news on that maybe a bit later in the year. But this book is where Thorfinn gets his own Viking name. You'll have seen that some of the Vikings, like Eric the Earmasher, have their own, Harold the Skull Splitter have their own funny comedy names. And this book here is quite good because you too can get your own funny comedy name in this book here. In fact, it's right at the very back. There's a Viking name generator right at the back. So all you need is your name. So boys' names go here, girls' names go there. And you just pick the first initial of your first name. And then the month you were born, you get to choose from 3 things. And then the date you were born. So it's quite good that way. I've put my own in here. My Viking name is Dagfinn, the Skull Hammerer. I gave myself a really tough one because, well, why not? I wrote it. I also put my birthday in here and my address, just in case you want to send me any presents. Anyway, so that's the great thing about this book, the name generator. It's so successful, in fact, that we thought what we'd do a bit more when we released this book last year, Thorfinn and the Dreadful Dragon. It's got a dragon in it. This book is really, this is really taken off. And we thought at the back of the book we'd put in a dragon name generator. So on this book you can get your dragon name. It's pretty cool, actually. So you can follow the steps quite easy. You get your first name. So that is your first part of your dragon name. And then the month you were born. And then where were you born? So that's the thing. So I was born in a place called Greenock. And I was born on May the 22nd. So my dragon name is David, the Granny Griller of Greenock. So that was that one. For the latest one, for Thorfinn and the Putrid Potion, we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So in here, you could get your own, you can make up your own potion using your birthday and what have you. So you get your surname in this one, and the day of the month you were born. That corresponds with one of these things here, and then the month you were born. So, for example, I was born on the 22nd of May, so my potion is Macphail's Pump, and it gives you a side effect of musical farts. So that's quite useful. If you would like to know, by the way, what your Viking name or your dragon name or your potion name is, it's very easy. It's all online, so you could probably do a search on the Thorfinn, the Nicest Viking name generator. You find it, or you get it on the publisher's website. So it's Florist Books. You can find it on there, and you can also get these other name generators on there as well. They're all online, so you don't even have to buy the book, but you can pick it up at your library. That's a good idea, isn't it? Oh, of course, that's why I'm talking to you. I almost forgot. It's about Aberdeenshire's Aberdeenshire Library Summer Reading Challenge. It's called the Live Life Aberdeenshire Summer Reading Challenge, and it starts on Monday the 22nd of June. Okay, Monday the 22nd, so you don't have long. Really, all ages can take part, from birth right up to 12 years and above. Your family can take part too, and so the way it's going to run this year, because of the lockdown and everything, it's going to be slightly different. So what they ask you to do is to register online, and then you can access an online passport, which is quite useful, a little passport to the challenge via the Live Life Aberdeenshire website. And I'm going to read, I've written this down, okay, so I'm going to read it to you. It's www.live-life-at-home/. That's how. Just remember that, okay? So the challenge is quite simple. So what you do is you read, you share or you listen to 6 books or more via your digital library, and there will also be some online activities for you to complete, and these are going to be announced at the beginning of each week of the event. And when you've finished your book or your challenge, you can give yourself a little tick via your own interactive passport. I think that's quite a good thing, the passport. I really like that idea. And so once you've got 6 ticks or more, you get entered into a prize draw, or you can enter yourself into a prize draw. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a fantastic challenge, really good. It's going to be a great year. Just doing it slightly differently. So just remember to visit the website from Monday the 22nd of June and get going. So have fun and happy reading. And I'm glad to have been able to talk to you a little bit about Vikings as well, and about Thorfinn. Okay, well, it's been lovely talking to you. I'll see you again. Bye bye.